While the stock market keeps hitting record highs and the government says the economy's fine, 3 million cars got repossessed last year. Credit card delinquency just hit the second highest level in history. And layoffs are accelerating faster than any time since 2009. We're in a recession. It's just that nobody wants to call it that yet. And if you're not preparing right now, your job could be next. Here's what's happening that the media isn't telling you. The official definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. By that measure, we're not in a recession. GDP is still technically positive. But that's because the government is spending trillions of dollars it doesn't have, propping up the numbers. And if you strip out government spending, the economy is already shrinking. It's fake growth built on debt. Meanwhile, the real economy, the one normal people live in, is collapsing. Credit card debt just crossed $1.3 trillion. That's an all-time record, and delinquencies are at 12.7%. The only time it's been higher was during the 2008 financial crisis. People aren't paying their credit cards because they can't. They're broke. They've maxed out their cards just to survive, and now they can't make the minimum payments. Car repossessions hit 3 million in 2025. That's double what we saw in 2009 during the last crisis. People are losing their cars because they can't afford the payments. And it's not just cars. Evictions are up. Foreclosures are starting to rise. Personal bankruptcies are increasing. Every indicator of financial distress is flashing red. But here's the scariest part. This is all happening while unemployment is supposedly at 4%. Imagine what happens when companies actually start cutting jobs in big numbers. That's what's coming, and it's already started. Let me show you what's happening in the job market that proves this recession is real. Tech companies have laid off over 150,000 workers in the last 18 months. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, they're all cutting. And these aren't small cuts. These are thousands of people at a time. The excuse is always efficiency or restructuring, but the real reason is they see what's coming. They're getting lean before the storm hits. And it's not just tech. Finance, media, retail, manufacturing, every sector is seeing layoffs. The difference is they're doing it quietly. 100 people here, 200 there. It doesn't make headlines, but it adds up. The job openings rate is falling fast. There are fewer jobs available now than there were 2 years ago. And the jobs that do exist are paying less in real terms because of inflation. Here's the key metric nobody talks about. The employment to population ratio, that's the percentage of working age people who actually have jobs. It's still below where it was before COVID. Millions of people just disappeared from the workforce. They're not counted as unemployed because they stopped looking for work. But they're not working either. So the official unemployment rate is fake. It doesn't count discouraged workers. It doesn't count people working part-time who want full-time. It doesn't count gig workers barely scraping by. The real unemployment rate, if you count all those people, is probably closer to 8 or 10%. We're already in recession territory. We just don't call it that. And here's what makes this different from 2008. Back then, it was obvious. Housing crashed, banks failed. Everyone knew we were in crisis. This time it's slow, it's quiet. Companies are laying off a few hundred at a time instead of thousands. People are getting their hours cut instead of being fired. It's death by 1,000 cuts. That makes it more dangerous because people aren't preparing. They think they're safe until suddenly they're not. Now let me tell you about the threat that's making this recession different from every other recession in history: artificial intelligence. In every previous recession, companies cut jobs to save money, but they eventually had to hire back when the economy recovered because they needed workers. This time they're not hiring back. They're replacing workers with AI. Customer service jobs? AI chatbots are handling calls now. Software companies just laid off thousands of developers because AI can write code. Marketing agencies are cutting staff because AI can create content. Even white-collar jobs that seemed safe are at risk. Accountants, lawyers, analysts, anyone whose job is information processing is vulnerable. A recent study found that AI could impact 300 million jobs globally in the next few years. That's not replace, that's impact. But even if it only replaces 10% of those, that's 30 million jobs gone. And here's the problem. When companies lay people off during a normal recession, those workers find new jobs when things recover. But if AI takes those jobs, where do the workers go? There's no industry hiring millions of displaced workers. Manufacturing is automated, retail is dying to e-commerce, service jobs pay minimum wage. We're heading into a situation where millions of people don't have viable employment options, not because they're lazy or unqualified, because their skills are no longer needed. That's not a recession, That's a structural collapse in the labor market, and nobody in government has a plan for it. Let me show you why this is about to get much worse. The economy runs on consumer spending. If people stop buying things, companies make less money, they cut jobs, unemployed people spend even less, and it spirals. That spiral is starting right now. Retail sales are weakening, restaurants are seeing fewer customers, luxury goods sales are down, people are cutting back because they're scared or broke or both. And here's the kicker: the pandemic savings are gone. Remember all that stimulus money people got in 2020 and 2021? It's spent. The extra unemployment benefits, the stimulus checks, the child tax credits, all of it is gone. People burned through their savings just trying to keep up with inflation. Now credit cards are maxed out, and there's no more borrowing capacity left. So what happens next? People stop spending, not because they want to, because they have to. When consumer spending drops, companies cut costs. That means layoffs. Layoffs mean less spending. It feeds on itself. We're at the edge of that cliff right now. Credit card delinquencies are the canary in the coal mine. When people stop paying their credit cards, it means they're out of money. When they're out of money, they stop buying things. When they stop buying things, the economy crashes, and the government can't save us this time. They already spent trillions during COVID. The debt is at 36 trillion. Interest rates are still elevated. They don't have room to do another massive stimulus without destroying the dollar. So this recession, when it fully hits, is going to be deflationary. Prices might come down, but only because nobody has money to spend. That sounds good until you realize it also means mass unemployment and business failures. So here's what you need to do to protect yourself, because this is happening whether you're ready or not. Step 1. Secure your income. If your job feels even slightly unstable, start looking for alternatives now. Don't wait until you're laid off. Update your resume, network, apply to jobs, have options. If you can create a side income stream, do it. Freelancing, consulting, starting a small business, anything that diversifies your income sources. If you lose your main job, you need something to fall back on. And if you're in an industry that's getting hit by AI or layoffs, consider pivoting now while you still have income. Don't wait until your entire field collapses. Step 2, cut your expenses aggressively. And I know that's not fun advice, but if a recession is coming, the people who survive are the ones with low expenses and high savings. Cancel subscriptions you don't use, cut discretionary spending, delay big purchases, build a cash cushion. Your goal should be 6 months of expenses in savings at minimum, ideally a year. That gives you time to find a new job if you get laid off. Step 3, eliminate high interest debt. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest, that needs to be your priority. In a recession, you can't afford to be hemorrhaging money on interest. Pay down credit cards, personal loans, anything with a high rate. Get your financial house in order before things get worse. Step 4, don't rely on the stock market to save you. If you're close to retirement or you need your investments in the next 5 years, get defensive. Move some money into cash or bonds. Don't be 100% in stocks when we're at all-time highs and a recession is coming. If you're young and you're investing for decades, you can probably ride it out. But if you need that money soon, protect it. Step 5, develop skills that AI can't replace. Focus on things that require human judgment, creativity, relationship building, physical presence, skilled trades, healthcare, anything hands-on. If your job is sitting at a computer processing information, you're at risk. Start learning skills that make you irreplaceable. Let me be clear about something. I'm not trying to scare you for no reason. I'm trying to wake you up before it's too late. The signs are all there. Credit card delinquencies at crisis levels, car repossessions doubling, layoffs accelerating, consumer spending weakening, AI replacing workers, government debt at unsustainable levels. This is not a normal economic cycle. This is a silent recession that's about to get loud. The difference between people who survive this and people who don't isn't intelligence or hard work. It's preparation. The people who see it coming and adjust will be fine. The people who ignore it and hope for the best will get crushed. So take action now while you still have income and options. Secure your job or find alternatives. Cut expenses and build savings. Eliminate high interest debt. Protect your investments if you need them soon. Develop skills that can't be automated. The economy's not fine. The stock market being high doesn't mean anything when regular people can't pay their bills. This recession is already here for millions of people. The question is when it reaches you. Don't be the person who looks back in a year and says, I should have prepared. Be the person who saw it coming and acted. Drop a comment and tell me if you're feeling this recession in your life. Are you seeing layoffs at your company? Are you struggling to pay bills even though you're working? If you think I'm wrong and the economy's actually fine, tell me why. Show me the data I'm missing. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. If you want me to break down specific industries at risk, explain how to recession-proof your career, or show you how to build an emergency fund fast, let me know what to cover next. The silent recession is here. The only question is whether you're going to prepare for it or pretend it's not happening until it's too late.